Good morning. Padapan Nokwe, Nimki Pinacious Dodem, Madadwan Dinjaba. I'm from Matachewan, which is northern Ontario. I was passed tobacco to invite and welcome people to this conference. And what I've done with that, taking that responsibility, I've actually passed them to someone who is from the territory. And so I'm going to allow him to take over to welcome you to the territory.
Bonjour. Je begin any indigenous cause Mashikando dem. No Jibwe Nishnalbi and Dao. Mississauga at Jibwe Nishnalbi and Dao. New credit in Donjaba, Minawa, Six Nations in Donjaba. In Dojabem, Bungi yet to go. Bonjour, Mashomas Gejemanado. Megwich Giz got non gom, Megwich Gizis, Mino Debit Gizis, Minonanak, Megwichanaquadon. Megwich Mama Quayaki, Megwich Nebi. Megwich the beans the one, Menoa Zibi one, Menoa the guy ganin, Meno getches a dog in the bee. Megwich metic oak, Menoa metic own suck, Menoa Mashkosi, Menoa Baguning. Megwich Menashiak, Menoa Weisenak, Menoa Wakanak, Menoa Gigun suck, Menoa Menadon suck. Megwich Wabanang Noden, Menoa Janang Noden, Menoa Dingabianang Noden, Menoa Giwedanang Noden. Megwich Nianako Beganik, Menoa ni Mama, Menoa the Widigi Morgan, Menoa the Needy Johnny suck. Megwich Madeuan, Menoa Kani suck, Menoa Mashkikiwan. Joanna Wishin, Wadok Wishin. Wadoka Gakanagego, Niniwak, Menoa Quaywak, Menoa Mashkiki, Niniwak, Menoa Mashkiki, Quaywak. We Wadoka Gakanagego in the Schnabek. We Wadoka, then the way Morganaduk. We Wadoka Mama Quayaki. Joanna Wishin, Wadok Wishin. Hamigwich. I want to acknowledge in Dojabem Bangyetago. I speak my language very little. And I want to welcome you all to traditional territories of the Mississaugas and the Ojibwe group, now broken down into Mississaugas of the Credit, which is where I am a member of. But there are Mississaugas of Alderville, Curve Lake, Hiawatha, Misagi. It's not just a small group, as we are been portioned off into little wee tiny pieces of land by the government, and we tend to think ourselves as being that little wee tiny piece. But I have come to understand that we're not that tiny piece, and that's only what the government wants you to think. I want to acknowledge the territory, and we were not the only ones using this territory. There are others, and this was a meeting place. Toronto was a meeting place, a gathering place. I can't say as I liked what you've done to the place. I don't see much improvement. I want to tell you a little bit of a story. I want you to think. I go around and I talk to students in public schools and high schools, university, and I don't really know that much. But one time, a long time ago, we had a store. And in that store was everything you needed to live. There was clothes, shoes, food, medicine, shelter. It was all in that store. And you didn't need money to get things from that store. Dorothy passed me this tobacco. It's all you needed to get something from the store was tobacco. All you had to go was take some tobacco and ask for what it is you needed. It was kind of like an IKEA store. There was nothing that was assembled. You had to put it all together. When you went for food, you had to dig it up, or you had to pick it from a tree, or you had to kill an animal. But you still had to take this tobacco and offer that. If you wanted transportation, you had to take the bark from a tree. Wigwasmetik, that birch tree, and you made a canoe. If you wanted shoes, you took the skin from a moose, and you had to make your shoes. If you wanted clothes, you had to take the skin from the deer and make your clothes. If you wanted ornamentation, you got feathers, you had stones, you had all kinds of things that you could do to make what you needed. If you needed tools, you made it from bone or you made it from stone. And all you needed was tobacco. There was no money. We had no jails. We had no locks. We had no welfare. And then someone came and they pushed all the customers out of the store. And they began to loot and plunder the store. And they introduced money. And they made the customers pay for what was free before, for what all you had was tobacco. And in their haste to plunder the store, to rob the store, they polluted the water. Where we could once drink with dipping our hand into the water, you can't do that anymore. And now we are sitting here wondering how we're going to fix our health. We are sitting here saying how we're going to pay for our medicine. We're sitting here wondering how we're going to pay for our food. I don't like what you've done to the place. I can say that, but then I'd be a hypocrite because I'm part of the system now too, because they made the customers of that store be like them. And so now I stand here and I'm part of the problem. We're all part of the problem. But I think we can fix it. I know we have to try. And I'm glad to see you come here to try and fix it, to try to understand what we have to do to make things better. And I understand that this conference, there's all kinds of people who are kind of activists, who are working in their field to change things. And that gives me hope that maybe we can fix the store. Because part of the problem is that we've forgotten that in order to get something from that store and only have tobacco to take it from the store, we had to look after the store. We had to protect it. We had to respect it. And as Anishinaabeg people, we have a principle of to live. And even that we've forgotten. And they're commonly called the 7 grandfather teachings, and I can never remember all of them. There's love, there's respect, there's humility, there's truth, there's courage, and wisdom. And I probably left one out. I always leave one out. Because if you got enough fingers, you probably come up to only 6. And I was talking earlier with someone, and I said, you know, most people, even if they know all of them, they still don't get it. They still don't understand. And what we don't understand is that those principles don't just apply to human beings. They apply to everything in creation. And we're supposed to treat everything in creation with the same dignity and respect as we do human beings. When the people came and robbed the store, they took away our language. That means I speak my language very little. I had to try and learn because I wasn't raised with it. It was taken away. And our reserve, the last fluent speaker, died in 1924. My dad knew that man. I think my dad was about 12 years old when that man went to the spirit world. But we're trying to pick things back up and to learn again. And one of the things that's most important sitting on your table is medicine. Right in the middle of your table is medicine. But we don't recognize it anymore. Our teachings tell us that water is the first medicine. It's right there in front of you. In some of our northern communities, for more than 20 years, they've had boil your water. And probably some of you go around the world to communities trying to bring them clean water. But in this country, we still don't have that for everyone. I want to sing you a song. In this song, it says, Mede wabo bimidjuan gawin na genondasi nikanas. Gagi gejiwan nikanas. And the rough translation says that water is moving, not just any old water, but it's the water the Creator promised us would come. The water from the third level above the earth. And that water is moving. And it says, can't you hear it, my friend? Can't you hear it, my friend? Forever flowing, my friend. Forever flowing. And the term Nikanas is just not just a friend. It's like a spiritual friend, a ceremonial friend. And I want to sing you this song because we've forgotten how important the water is. We don't pay it respect. We go to the tap, we turn it on. We don't even know where it comes from anymore. Yesterday I went to gather rocks. We call them grandfathers for sweat lodge ceremony. And on the way home, I stopped on Highway 24 outside of Brantford, where there used to be a spring where you could get water all the time. And then after Walkerton, the government closed all those springs down. Now you get to buy it in a store for money, where I used to take tobacco. But that spring is still there. And I stuck my hand in that water and I drank it. Tasted really good. And I didn't pay for it. Because I remember how it's supposed to be. And I want to sing you this song because it really makes you think about water. It makes you thankful for water. And this song is going to stick in your head. It's kind of like what you call, I think in the musical business there, an earworm. It's going to go in there and it's going to stay in there. And when I talk to people, I try to take them on a journey. I try to make them leave the room and go someplace, look around and come back. And I hope I've done that for you, taken you out of this room, had you walk around. And when I sing this song, you're going to come back and you're going to have a good conference and you're going to do a lot of good work. Bide wabo bi mechi wan. 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 Gawina ginonde zini kanes. Gawina ginonde zini kanes. Gagi geji Kawina ginonda zini kanes. Kawina ginonda zini kanes. Kagige wani kanes. Kagige wani kanes. Mede wabo bi meche wan. 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 Kawina ginonda zini kanes. Kawina ginonda zini kanes. Kagige wani kanes. Kagige wani kanes. Mede wabo bi meche wan. 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 Kawina ginonda zini kanes. Kawina ginonda zini kanes. Kagige wani kanes. Kagige wani kanes. In the beginning, I started with a prayer, and I gave thanks for everything that was in the store, for the wind, for the rocks, for the fish, for the insects, for the trees, for the grass, for everything that was in the store. And at the beginning of that song, I sounded the drum 4 times, and I was inviting with those 4 drum beats for the spirits and ancestors and the directions to come and listen. And at the end, with that series of beats, we're giving thanks for those ancestors and spirits for listening to the song. So again, I want to welcome you again to this territory and to have a good conference, to enjoy yourself, to make friends. And I should tell you a joke, but probably shouldn't do that either. But have some laughter too. It's not all serious. And we can make a difference. And a lot of times people think it's so discouraging to see what mess we've got ourselves in. But you know, not too far away from here is a lake. And that lake is full of billions of raindrops. And whatever little change we make is a raindrop of change. And if enough people make that raindrop, then we change things. So, Chi Miigwech.